The Super Speedway Podcast is a Dream Bigger media production. For news, photos, show notes, and information about advertising on the podcast, visit www.thesuperspeedway.com.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 138 of the Super Speedway Podcast, recorded January 29th, 2020. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, how is it going today?
Whew. I'm surprised we remember how to do this, man.
I know, it's been a while.
It's been a minute again.
Yeah. I mean, it's only been, I think, 2 weeks since we did the last one, was it?
Two or three.
Oh, you know what? I think it is. I think it has been 3, because I think we got together last week, and it's like, let's go one more week. And now that the season's starting, I'm kind of glad we did.
I finally got the sinus infection through my system.
That's good.
So, we were going to record last week, and I pretty much blew you off. I'm like, it's not happening. I feel like crap.
Yeah, I was ready to go, but not at all disappointed that we weren't going last week.
Yeah, we're going to be busy the next couple of weeks, or I guess the next, 9 months?
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
9 or 10 months?
Yeah, I warned my wife today that she's got one more Sunday with me, and that's it.
Yeah, you're done.
Yep.
And that's Super Bowl Sunday, so.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Very good. Very good.
I'll watch that for the commercials. She'll enjoy that too, so we're good there.
Good.
So I'm really distracted right now, James, because the Orange Cone just retweeted a NASCAR man tweet, and the tweet is about teams switching manufacturers in the middle of the season. It's an old clip from 1991. It's a video clip, but it's a crash at Michigan from 1991. And it's a GIF or whatever, so it just keeps replaying over and over and over again, and it's really distracting because it's on the screen next to me. I just wanted to preface when there? I get distracted. No, 91. I don't think I
must have been there.
Yeah, I might not have been, because if this was the June race, I think I was only at the August race, which was the one that that Davey and Dale battled to the line at. So.
Gotcha.
So yeah, if I just zone out for a minute, that's why it's scrolled down a little bit now, so it's kind of out of my vision.
Twitter, the world of Twitter, yes.
It's like the only time I open up Twitter, NASCAR Twitter, is when I'm doing the podcast.
Well, I'm looking at Twitter right now, and Kyle Busch is slinging his energy drink.
Yes, I saw that too. We didn't put that in the news, but we could add that. We can do it right now. Kyle Busch has launched Rowdy Energy Drink.
Is that going to be your new replacement for Mountain Dew?
No, I don't do the energy drinks anymore. Not that the Mountain Dew is not killing me slowly, but the energy drinks kill me a little faster. They dehydrate me, and I can't stand them. So every once in a while I get a bug in my bonnet. I don't know why I use that phrase. I've never used that phrase, but anyway, I don't know. It's apparently I've just stepped back to the 1930s, and I'm an old woman now.
Honest to God, you have never sounded older to me.
God. Anyway, every once in a while I'll go back and go, maybe I'll get a Red Bull, and then I realize that I hate Red Bull. So
very good.
Yeah. So no chance of Red Bull sponsoring us.
I won't be drinking any Rowdy. Sorry, Kyle. Ain't happening.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about Monster anymore. So
yeah, you're good. You don't have to sling any of the energy drinks anymore.
Nope, not at all. All right, let's talk some NASCAR, James, because you know what? We took some time off in the off season, but the NASCAR news cycle has not taken any time off. And it's been kind of crazy the last couple of weeks. Like last week, I felt like we had to come on and do a podcast because of the news. And I mean, nothing's been like, oh my God, we've just got to do a podcast, but it just keeps adding up.
Right.
So let's start.
It's a bunch of little things. It's like a million paper cuts.
Yeah, there's been a lot of little stuff. So let's start with my contact that's bothering me right now, and I can't read the screen. NASCAR changes its aero rules for short tracks. This I think this happened right after we did the last podcast, didn't it?
I think so. Yeah. If we haven't gone over that, yes.
I know. I had to go back and see, what did we leave off on in the news wise?
Talk about yes. No. That is super great news. I think we saw that coming after that debacle at Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
The
debacle at Phoenix, the debacle at both of them at Martinsville.
Martinsville was a disaster. So hopefully, this will get things back in the right direction, because we can't sacrifice the good tracks for the 1.5 miles, and not that we don't have good racing at the 1.5 miles from time to time, but this is the best stuff. And last year's performance on these types of tracks was really subpar. So got to do something. Have to. It's a must.
Yeah. So basically, we're going back to the old package at the short tracks and road courses. So I don't have it right in front of me right now, but we're going to be a good chunk of the series. We'll go back to that old package. So we should see a similar racing to what we've seen prior to this season. So that's good. And then Goodyear announced that they're going to change the tires up a little bit as well. So
good.
Hopefully,
we see some tire wear. Hopefully.
Yeah, that would be good. That's what they're looking for, is to give us a little bit more of the wear that we need, and hopefully fix the issues we've been having on the short tracks and road courses and get those back to what they used to be.
Yeah, NASCAR has to be in a little bit of a state of panic. They've got a long way to go, but with the championship race switching over to Phoenix, they've got to get this right, and they've got to get it right now. It's urgent, because you can't go into the season, and we get a chance to see Phoenix early in the schedule, like we do every year. But with so much importance riding on that championship race, you got to have it. You can't fool around with this stuff. You got to make sure the product is good.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is a good decision. I think we all saw it coming. Certainly one of those news items that's not really a news item because we expected it. But good to see that they, we didn't just do a stupid thing where let's add an inch to the spoiler, just little stuff. We actually just went back to let's just do what worked. So
go back to what works. Yes,
yep, exactly. So Dale Jr. will make his return to the NASCAR Xfinity Series this season. We expected this, his annual one-off race, but it's come a little early this year. He's going to do it at Homestead. I don't think this was a surprise to anybody either, really. Yeah. I think he kind of already made it known that he was going to race it. I mean, he said he was interested in running at Homestead, I guess.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's good. Yeah. I mean, loves the track. He loves the racing there, so it makes sense.
Yep. So, I mean, again, not a huge news item, but Junior's coming back to race a race. That's cool. Being awesome to see him get a win in one of these things when he does it.
He's been close, man. Yeah. Every time he's run that one Xfinity race per year, he's pretty. I mean, he's top 5.
Yeah.
One of the best drivers out there. He's led laps, so I mean, I'd love to see him get one if he possibly could. But he's had a lack of seat time now. But I mean, I don't know if that matters. He's Dale Jr., man. He can go out there and get it done.
You know what I would really like to see for Dale Jr.? How cool would this be? So Kyle's got a truck that he fields throughout the season for him to race in. Usually he's got a couple extra races that the seats open in. Dale and Kyle had this, old rivalry from the Richmond incident. How freaking cool would it be to see Kyle give Junior a call and say, hey, come run my truck for one race?
Would Kyle switch it to a Chevy?
That's the thing. That's the only way it would probably happen, I'm sure. But it would be awesome.
It would be cool. The Greg Biffle thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be great.
Yeah. Dale Jr. would be awesome on the truck series.
Yeah, he would be. Speaking of the Greg Biffle thing, James, I didn't put this in the news items, but NASCAR is doing the Triple Truck Challenge again this year, different tracks. And they've gotten rid of the Greg Biffle rule that kept him from being eligible last year for the 3-race prize.
Yeah, which was a load because he only ran one race all year. He should have been able to be in that.
Yeah, it was stupid. So this year, if they have a one-off and they sneak in at the last minute after the deadline, they could still win the big prize.
Let's see if the Biff makes his return.
That'd be cool.
Able to. I mean, yeah, go get that money. He deserves it. He could have won. He would have won it last year, no doubt.
Yeah, I think he would have.
Jeez.
Yeah. Anyway, change the subject. Anything else on Junior?
No, just glad to see him back. I mean, we always wanted to see Dale Jr. hanging around, and this doesn't interfere with his broadcasting schedule this year either. So he's getting in early enough, and we'll see how he does, man. We'll be rooting for him.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of the Xfinity Series, we had a bit of a sort of a surprise announcement. This was one of them that was like, man, I wonder if we should do a podcast to do this. So there was a rumor I found it on Reddit, and it was the day before this announcement was made. Suddenly there was an announcement scheduled for Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the Reddit prediction was that they were going to announce that they were going to run the Xfinity cars on the road course at IMS. And I believe you,
Go ahead, man. I deserve it. Do it.
you and Todd, our friend of the show, with good connections, both said I was crazy and that would never
I
happen.
poo-pooed it. I did.
Yep. And then the next day, we had an announcement at Indianapolis Motor Speedway with Justin Allgaier, which kind of gave it away. Come on, guys. It was an Xfinity announcement at IMS. And yeah, they're going to run the road course at IMS on the same weekend as the Brickyard 400.
Yep.
I know a lot of people.
Eric is now a trusted source for my information.
A lot of people.
This did it.
A lot of people made a big deal out of it because they have to switch from road course to oval. And I know that there's been talk that that's one of the reasons they couldn't do like the Roval for the All-Star weekend at Charlotte. And it's one of the reasons why we couldn't run the road course at Daytona on like the 500 weekend or the Pepsi 400 weekend or whatever. Pepsi 400 hasn't been the Pepsi 400 in years. But anyway, God, I'm old today. But see, Indy's done this before because we used to run the sports cars or IMSA or whatever with the Cup Series on that weekend. And so we've switched before. Right. And so it's really, I mean, it's an overnight process, but it's not a big deal. They can do it. So
yeah, Roger Penske making things happen. Gets that title in his name and moves, making moves. Yep. He knows how to make a buck.
Yeah, definitely. And then I read yesterday that they've decided it's going to be the 14-turn road course. I don't know what that means, but they had several versions that they tested with.
The Benedetto was out there.
Tested it, and so they settled on the 14-turn road course. I don't know. What do you think, James? So Xfinity's been historically terrible since they've gone to the big track. Although I think the last 2 years the race has been the best of the weekend. I think you disagree with that, but I like the way that they were slingshotting and all that stuff. And I mean, it wasn't really racing, but it was fun.
Some stage race, some ends of the stage that were really phenomenal.
Yeah, we had a 4-wide finish at one of the stages, or 5-wide even. I don't remember. It was crazy.
It got crazy. Yeah, they were all under a blanket.
So is this a good move? Is this a bad move, or is this like a who cares?
You know what I'm going to say. I shrug at it because I'd rather see him racing at IRP than anything else. I don't know. I mean, if they're going to use the Xfinity Series to experiment, I am totally fine with it. It's not sending shockwaves through my body of excitement, but right. I mean, I will tune in. I will watch. I think it'll be kind of cool, but I don't know. We'll see.
Thanks for calling it IRP because now you're the old one.
It's good. It's ORP now, right?
Yeah, it's been ORP for a while. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like the Xfinity Series runs enough road courses now. I mean,
you run quite a few, yeah.
They've got a lot of road courses, and I don't know that they needed another one. I don't think the road course is going to fix the problem with Indy because personally, I don't think the road course is that good there either.
We can't see anything anyway. It doesn't matter. You're not going to sit in the main. You're not going to get a ticket for the main grandstand and expect to see anything. You're going to see cars coming down the.
But you can't for the big race either because it's the same way. I mean, you and I aren't going, so it doesn't matter to us. We're on TV. The view is going to be good no matter what. But I mean, I get excited every year for the IndyCar race on the road course. And honestly, once they get to about turn 3, the race is over. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the first turn. And I'll tell you what, the first turn on the first lap at Indy in this race is going to be nuts. You're going to have a wreck in that first turn, guaranteed.
At some point during a restart or something.
Every restart's going to be exciting. You think the heartburn turn at the Roval is crazy. This first turn, if they're running the configuration that causes them to go through it, which I'm assuming they are, unless they dumb it down for NASCAR, it's going to be nuts. There will be somebody spinning every restart in turn 1.
Yeah.
And guaranteed that there'll be a late race restart where the leader will wreck and it'll be a big deal.
Yeah.
But other than that, the race, I don't think the track's that interesting. So it was a track that was built for Formula One and sports cars and road racing cars. But I don't know, NASCAR wants to go street racing, so a good flat road course is a good place to test it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm optimistic, but don't really care, I guess.
Yeah.
It doesn't move the needle for me.
No.
The only thing that moves the needle is the fact that Roger's trying to do something to make the Brickyard relevant.
Yeah, and if it was the Cup Series making the switch, then we could have a long debate.
Oh, yeah.
What do we do with this historic, Brickyard 400? I know fans don't come out as much as they used to, but it's still the drivers consider it a crown jewel. What does that mean?
Right.
All this other stuff. But yeah, we're not doing that now. So I mean, I'd like to see the Cup Series do a doubleheader at some point. You know, if we're gonna do more doubleheaders, yeah, I'd love to see them run the road course one day, and then the next day run the big track for the 400. I think that would be cool.
That would be pretty neat. I like that idea of a doubleheader.
Yeah, someday, you know. Well, maybe this is, you know, in Roger's big plans, because we're going to be seeing some schedule changes. So Roger's no dummy, man. He's already 4 moves ahead of us on this one. So yeah, he's going to be making he's making moves. He's setting the foundation for what he wants Indy to become under his ownership.
Yep, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Speaking of open wheel racing, James, how do you like that transition? See, I still got it.
Still got it. Yeah. Very good.
Kyle Larson gets his Chili Bowl win finally. He won his Daytona 500.
He did. So last time we were talking about the podcast, we were gonna your marriage was up in the air because you were thinking about getting the Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
Did you end up watching it live?
No, I still haven't even watched the replays of it.
I only caught the highlights of most of the action. But yeah, Larson finally got it done. He beat Chris Bell, got his Chili Bowl.
I believe he apologized to NASCAR.
He did. He did. I don't care. See, everybody's making a big deal about that stuff, and Gluck did a thing, and I don't care about that, man. The guy loves to race. Let him. I don't know.
What does it matter if he races in NASCAR but thinks a win outside of the NASCAR series is the biggest win in his career? What does it matter? Who cares? That's not saying anything bad about NASCAR. It's just saying how important the Chili Bowl is.
Yeah, if Tony Stewart would have won an Indy 500, what do you think he would have said?
Exactly.
Could have had the exact same career and just had a few places higher in the finishing order at the Indy 500, and it would have been the same thing.
What do you think? And maybe Tony's answered this question. You might know the answer. What would have been bigger for Tony, an Indy 500 or Daytona 500?
Oh, it's Indy.
Yeah, I would assume because that's his home track.
Yeah, it's Indy for him. It's always has been. He has said that he knew at some point he was never going to be able to go back to Indy to win the Indy 500. So the Brickyard was the next big thing for him.
Right.
So those are the 2 biggest races he's ever won was the Brickyards.
Yep.
And he'll tell you that. I love that Larson does this stuff. I know that he's out in Australia. I think right now he's still running open. He's been racing nonstop all off season.
I think he's flipped more sprint cars than he'll run Cup races this season.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I was taking a drink of water. Yeah, he's had a couple wicked crashes.
Yeah, he wrecked out in Australia. He's
won a lot too.
Yeah,
he's won a ton of races.
Man, Chip's got to be nervous every time he flips one of those things.
Yeah, got to be. It might not be Chip's problem in a few months either. So
yeah, maybe we're gonna go there again.
I don't know. We're gonna be talking about that all season. Until he signs the dotted line, we're gonna be looking at where's he going.
Yep.
Because that 14 car looks pretty sweet to him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's where I want him to go. Anyway.
So you think 14 over 48?
If I were him, I would probably go the 14 over the 48.
Well, yeah, right now. I mean, why wouldn't you go to a Stuart Haas car right now?
Who wants to follow the Jimmer? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's our big shoes to fill, man.
Yeah, the 14 car would be pretty good for him.
Yeah, I'd love it.
It'd be cool to see him and Tony together.
Yeah.
All right, let's get ready to rant. I'm sure James is going to rant on this one. If he doesn't, I'll take over.
I'm ready.
We got a big Truck Series announcement. I think we talked about this at Michigan or after the Michigan race last year. There was a lot of talk about the fact that of the 8 drivers that made it in, there were drivers that maybe seemed like they should have been in the top 10 or in the playoff field that didn't make the cut last year at Michigan when they cut off for the championship. So NASCAR did what they do, and they expanded the field to 10 drivers this year for the Truck Series, a series that has 15 full-time drivers to begin with.
If you're being gracious, yes.
I think you can tell our feelings on this, but James, take it away. What do you think of this?
No, it's just more convoluted mess that NASCAR's created to water down their playoff product. So, I mean, I hope they're happy with it. I hope it's exciting for them because the Truck Series it's great racing. We agree. We like Truck Series racing, but it is a very thin product as it is. You do not have very many top end teams, And basically, you're by expanding the field to 10, you're pretty much letting everybody in the door
Yeah.
for the playoffs. And that's not the way it should be.
No.
It's not the way it should be. Ross Chastain last year, he made that switch and he got in so easily after he got another win to qualify. It doesn't even compare to Kyle Busch's 2015 Cup run because Kyle Busch missed a ton of time. He really had to earn his way into the playoffs, and he did. For the most part, he earned his way.
And that just shows, not only the requirements differ for the Cup Series, but obviously the competition's a lot better in the Cup Series as well.
Exactly. I said we were in a text thread with Todd on this, and I was ranting and I did my best ranting and raving off air, but I mean, I think the playoff field for the trucks should be less than 8. I think it should be 6.
Yeah.
Make these guys earn the spot. I don't know. I understand why NASCAR is doing it though. You get more sponsors and teams involved in your playoffs, and it's a bigger deal. And these truck teams can sell their sponsors like, "Hey, we're a playoff team," right? I mean, that's
right. Yeah, that's the whole reason.
Yeah, and I get that the Truck Series needs funding anywhere they can get it, and if it helps, that's great. But I just think they're watering down an already watered down product.
Here's the question: what was the big storyline at the cut line for the Xfinity Series last year?
Remind me.
I don't know. What was the big story? What was the big storyline for the cut line at the Cup Series?
The only thing I could think of was there wasn't any really. I mean, Daniel Suarez was on the bubble. There was a few guys on the bubble, but nobody. Guys. Yeah, there was no excitement. What
was the big storyline in the Truck Series? Was Matt Crafton going to make it in? Was we knew Adam Finger was in because he won the regular season championship. Was Todd Gilliland going to win the race and get in? There was 15 storylines in that race at Michigan. It was excellent. And maybe I'm a little biased because I was there covering it, but still.
Great. Yeah, and the Ross Chastain thing really kind of did throw a wrench into that because he came from the back of the point standings to make it.
People actually gave a crap about the cutoff in the Truck Series last year, and they aren't going to this year.
Yep, you're taking it all away.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing is, the point of the playoffs isn't everybody gets in. The point of the playoffs is that good drivers are supposed to be left out. That's why we do this.
You have to earn it. You made that's a really great point that you just made. I didn't even think about that. But yes, that is exactly the drama of getting in the playoffs is just important as the playoffs. Your playoffs start before the playoffs begin.
Right.
The race to get into the playoffs is a playoff.
Exactly.
And it's exciting. And it just expands your attention span a little bit and how many people are paying attention. NASCAR, the Cup Series way back in the day, I mean, God, we remember when they were running just 10 drivers for the Cup Series championship, and it was fantastic. Yeah. Remember how great those Richmond races were? Jeremy Mayfield. And I remember Tony Stewart missing the cut, like barely in the year after, that he made it, but he was on the bubble the whole time, and it was excellent.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. But man, we've got way too many drivers in the Cup Series competing for a title now. And now you're just doing the same thing.
Yeah, the 16 car field in Truck Series is too much.
Yeah, or in the Cup Series,
Yeah, Cup Series, sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, the Truck Series is so watered down to begin with. The playoff format almost doesn't work for the Truck Series, and now you're going to expand it. I mean, like I said, you literally have maybe 15, 16, 17 full-time teams. There aren't 10 super competitive teams.
I think we had 11 or 13 or something like that full-time trucks last year. Ran all of the races full-time.
Right.
I mean, there's
and not all those guys are competitive. So
I know.
I don't know. This frustrates me. I didn't think NASCAR was going to do it, but they bent to the pressure. And
this is a really bad year for Natalie Decker to go part-time in the Truck Series. Right. She could have made it. She had her chance.
This is the Ben Rhodes rule. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Because Ben Rhodes was so close to making it into this thing and didn't make the cut. This is the Ben Rhodes rule. So should have won a race.
No, it's not as bad as the Jeff Gordon rule. When you just add one guy.
It could be worse. At least we did it before the season started instead of after the playoff decision.
Right. Yeah. We have a nasty history of playoff convolutedness in NASCAR.
I will give NASCAR some credit, though. There's been a lot of announcements in the offseason. There's been a lot of announcements over the past season and a half. And this is really one of the only ones that I'm like, yeah, this was stupid. So it's a lot better than what it's been in the past.
Right. Absolutely.
So good on them, I guess. They're bound to have one bad decision every once in a while.
For sure. Yeah. That's fine.
I'm going to gloss over this because we're not by any means a news podcast or a legal podcast, but I wanted to just mention this. The DC Solar owners pled guilty to operating a Ponzi scheme, a $1 billion Ponzi scheme, biggest criminal fraud scheme in the history of the Eastern District of California, according to the press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of California. So, yeah.
There you go.
Nice job, guys. This is the company that cost Ross Chastain his chance at a full-time Xfinity ride with Chip Ganassi.
Yeah.
Screwed a lot of people out of a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember they had that big Christmas party, which has been listed in a lot of their documents. They owed a lot of people a lot of money at that Christmas party. And Kyle Larson, I'll never forget Kyle Larson tweeting he had the best time of his life at this Christmas party, and then it was like 6 days later, it's gone.
Yep.
DC Solar's gone. They've been raided and it's over.
Yep. Gotta love it. So.
Yeah. Man.
All right. So let's see. Fox announces there was just talk. I just saw rumors about how Fox was going to announce that Michael Waltrip was replacing his brother in the booth. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't do it. And then Fox announces that it's going to be a 2-man booth in the Fox booth this year for the Cup Series. Mike Joy, Jeff Gordon, that's it.
Thank God.
What do we think?
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's back to the old style. It's 2 guys. That's it.
Let Michael do his stupid grid walk and just leave the 2-man booth. Thank you. I'm so glad.
Yeah. So let me add a little drama to this, though. And James, I don't know if you saw this or not, but Ray Dunlap was tweeting after this announcement was made. And Ray Dunlap famously used to be with Fox and was one of the Fox announcers. And apparently he's not anymore. So he tweeted 6 days ago, Fox bosses a cubicle in LA have made hundreds of bad decisions over the years. They massively overpaid for NASCAR, massively overspent on frivolous production. Huge budget cuts will be very evident this season. I feel bad for my announcer friends and loyal viewers. That was as a result of this. So Ray is saying that Fox is cutting costs, and that's why they're not adding somebody else to the booth. And if Fox is going to cut costs and we're going to notice it in the production, oh my God, I'm scared.
Jesus, does it? Now I might be wrong on this, and I think I am, but I'm going to say it anyway. Doesn't Disney own Fox Sports?
Don't think so.
Or is Fox Sports its own thing still?
I think Fox Sports is its own thing. Disney used to own ESPN.
Disney owns ESPN, but they own Fox now too.
They
bought Fox because Disney owns The Simpsons and everything now. Yeah. Oh yeah. Disney bought all those. Yeah. Disney is involved here somehow.
I don't think they own Fox Sports.
I think that's where I'm.
I think they bought 21st Century Fox.
Yes, it's Spot and Fox Searchlight. Yeah, all that stuff.
Oh,
so they've got all
which distributes sports. Oh, maybe you're right.
They own all of the. So when ABC bought Fox, ABC, when Disney bought Fox, they got the rights to all of like you know how the Tigers play on Fox Sports Detroit.
Yeah.
Disney owns all of those, and I think they're selling them off. So I don't know if they're in the sports game with Fox. I highly doubt that they are. But either way, Fox isn't going to be hurting for money.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't think that's
interesting. And take this with a grain of salt because this is probably a disgruntled ex-employee too that has some followers on Twitter and people like Ray. And nothing against Ray, but yeah.
I have nothing. Listen, man, we just talked a whole thing about watering down the product. If you've got 2 smart guys like Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon, that's all you need.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is it's interesting that Fox is going to do basically the anti-NBC because NBC's got so many guys in the booth that they can't fit them in the booth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Mike Joy is arguably the best in the business.
He's right there, and he's good.
Jeff Gordon, arguably in the top 5 greatest of all time, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he's color. Yeah. Drivers, yes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely popularity, but as far as talent,
I put Jeff Gordon on the Mount Rushmore. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
And this is one of those deals.
That's tough, man. This would be. I know it's off season still. This would be a good off season podcast actually because where does Jeff rank? Does he rank above somebody like?
Let's put it on the docket for next week.
Does he rank above Pearson? I mean.
Oh yeah. He does.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
But I mean, Pearson was really good. He just didn't race for championships.
I know. That's part of it, though. That's part of the argument, and
Yeah.
also part of the argument is we're going to step on another idea. We're stepping on their idea, but part of the argument is impact off the track. That's also very much part of it. And Jeff
True.
Gordon had the bigger impact than anybody off the track.
Yeah.
He took us mainstream for a hot minute.
I personally would rank Jeff, I think, number 4.
Yeah, that's why I say he's on my Rushmore.
Yeah, I think he's number 4. But
I got him behind the 3.7s.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that is pretty biased because obviously there's a lot of drivers from the olden days of NASCAR that were bypassing with this. But I think what Jeff, and as far as importance in NASCAR, I would probably rank him. I might rank him like 1 or 2. I mean, honestly, importance of what they did for NASCAR, Jeff's probably number 1.
He's second to Dale Earnhardt. Yeah,
I don't know. I think he's above Dale Earnhardt.
Probably bigger. Yeah, he's probably bigger than Dale. Yeah,
because I don't think Dale's what Dale became without Jeff.
Yeah, that's true.
It was that rivalry between Jeff and Dale that made NASCAR in the the 90s.
But I would argue that we're just going to do it right now. I would throw back at you that the pop that Jeff Gordon brought us faded away, whereas Dale Earnhardt's kind of lower lasting legacy is still, he's bigger in the South and blue collar people. That base still exists for NASCAR. Whereas as the fan base that Jeff Gordon brought in from New York and Los Angeles and the big areas, I don't think that exists as much anymore.
I'll give you that, but Jeff's influence on the sport, on the other hand, I think you've got people like Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell and a lot of these drivers.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson. You've got these guys that came up. Yeah, Stewart's one. They came up the route that Gordon did.
Yep.
And not only that, but we also have lots of mainstream products still in the sport. And you could argue that it's actually been bad for the sport.
Fortune 500.
Yeah, that we wouldn't have here without Jeff. So
I agree with that. Yeah.
It's really interesting. Okay. Yeah, we can discuss this more in the future. But
that's really good.
Anyway, I think this is a great move. I think, again, I think Mike Joy could do the show by himself, to be honest, as long as they don't make him be a cartoon character. Yeah. Hopefully Mike gets to be more himself and the professional broadcaster that he is, and not, DW straight man like he's been the past, 10 years or so.
Just keep Michael out of there.
Oh, yeah. Let's just
he's a fine guy. Just keep him out of there.
If you want to give him the 30 seconds or 2 minutes for his grid walk, give him that, and then just take him off the air.
Let him be happy with his grid walk and sitting in the hotel.
I tell you what, I hate the grid walk, but I also can't look away from it. So keep doing it.
It's the part of the reason a lot of people watch NASCAR. It's the car crash.
It's the same reason, man, that I still continue to watch, that I'm addicted to stupid TikTok app, because it's so freaking cringy.
Oh no, you're on that?
I'm not on it. I don't do anything on it, but I watch this crap on it.
Yeah, I don't even.
I just watch it for the cringe.
I'm getting too old, man. That's it.
I know, that's funny. You're younger than me, but you're definitely older than me.
Oh, I'm old in spirit. Yeah, I've been watching the new season of Curb, and really, your comparison. You always say that I'm Larry David, and my God, it's getting more and more. It's getting worse for me.
I can't remember if I've ever said that on the podcast or not, but yes, if you guys want to know what James is like, it's Larry David. Totally.
I am Larry David. There's a part, I'm not giving anything away, but in the very first episode of the new season of Curb, he's walking down the street and he sees these young kids using a selfie stick, and he walks by and then breaks it in half. And I'm like, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you look up curmudgeon in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of James.
Right there. Yep. It's all good.
So we got Jimmy Johnson running his last season this year. We keep losing these drivers to retirement. We're going to lose another one this year, James. Brendan Gaughan announced he's going to run 4 races this season, and all 4 restrictor plate races, and hang his helmet up. Gaughan will be done with the Cup Series. Brendan is just great for this sport. He's so much fun. I obviously don't expect him to go out there and win, but he runs well at these restrictor plate tracks. It'll be a bummer to not have Gaughan in the field.
Yeah, he's just one of the great characters that we've never. I don't know if we've ever done a deep enough dive on Brendan Gaughan. I mean, when did he won that race at Road America? I think not that long ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Road courses. Yeah, he was just a totally interesting dude.
Yeah,
really interesting guy.
Yeah, it's a personality that I don't think we've been exposed to enough in NASCAR.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that.
every time we get it, it's enjoyable. His discussion after his flip at Talladega last year is just epic. It's so Brennan gone. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So
his father owns a casino in Las Vegas, right?
Yep.
Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yep, South Point.
Look at a picture of him, and you would never guess that he played Division I basketball on the same team as Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's true.
Incredible story. Yeah, he's good. he was good for the sport.
Yeah.
I wish he would have popped in the Cup Series a little bit more. But he only had one full season. He was done.
Yeah.
He was done,
I think Don was one of those people that and probably because of the money that he had behind him, he probably got chances he shouldn't have gotten and didn't get a chance to get the experience he needed to fit those chances. You know what I mean? I think he was ahead of his skill level. Not that he's not a good driver. He just he got the opportunities too quick.
Well, and what happened too is he made the jump from the Truck Series to the Cup Series and he didn't do the Xfinity thing. He didn't take that gradual step. And he had a nice championship run in 2003 for the Trucks. He finished 4th in points that year and won 6 races.
Yeah.
And he was a legit shot at the title. But he went right to the Cup Series and flamed out with Roger Penske, and that was it. Yep. He was gone.
Yep. Speaking of Roger Penske, Miller Lite, James, I know you're going to have something to say on this one. Miller Lite Penske announces that Miller Lite has dropped just to 1 race for sponsorship next season, or this season. It's this season now. Coke 600, and that's it for Brad Keselowski and Miller Lite. Kind of a bummer.
That isn't. I was just going to say, doesn't that bum you out?
Yeah.
That one of the great sponsors in the sport is down to 1 race and an associate all year.
Not only a great sponsor, but
greatest paint schemes. Just
great. Every paint scheme that they did was great, and just the longevity of this sponsor with this team. It's been on the 2 car forever.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as the 2 car existed, it's been a Miller sponsored car.
I cannot believe Miller Lite is hurting that bad. Why? I don't know why they're getting out of it. They've been gradually dropping races, and we could see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
But and not that long ago, they were one of just a couple of sponsors in the sport when Lowe's, and we've lost Lowe's, but it was Miller Lite, Lowe's, and FedEx. And like those were full season sponsors, which we never have anymore.
Yep. And
now the 2 cars, just like everybody else, except for Denny Hamlin and Jimmy Johnson, it's patchwork all season. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And beer sponsors are NASCAR guys. That is so important. I really wish Kevin Harvick would get the Budweiser ride back, but that's not happening.
Right.
They're pushing Busch, but that's fine. But Miller Lite, man. I don't know, man.
I kind of feel like Budweiser's Junior's brand. I'm sorry. It just feels like Junior.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, DW, he was Budweiser, for a while.
Yep. I don't know. DW is still Mountain Dew to me.
Mountain Dew, yeah. Western Auto Parts.
Yeah.
That was my DW.
Yeah, I definitely. To me, honestly, DW is tied. But I see DW as the Mountain Dew guy. I don't know why.
I enjoy the Ricky Craven years of the Budweiser and the Ken Schrader years.
Yeah. Schrader is a good Budweiser sponsored driver.
Yeah, people forget the Eric Almirola era of Budweiser. He when he took over for Casey Kane, when Casey left his Budweiser ride, there was the Eric Almirola era. So yeah, there's some really good Budweiser memories for you right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Interesting thing you mentioned Jimmy Johnson, and Ally is his sponsor. Somebody pointed it out the other day, which I didn't even realize. I think it had been mentioned before, but it didn't click and didn't stick with me. Ally is a new sponsor of the sport, but they're not.
No.
Ally is GMAC.
Yep.
And so it was a sponsor, longtime sponsor with Hendrick Motorsports. So
Brian Vickers. And, that whole era. Yep.
Yeah, Jerry Nadeau, I think, drove the GMAC car.
I think so.
One time.
Yeah.
Probably
Kyle
Vickers
Busch drove it.
Yeah.
As a sponsor. Ricky Hendrick drove it in the Truck Series. Yeah, way back when.
That's right. So.
Isn't Ally in Michigan? Ally is based in Detroit.
Is it? Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, their main office is right by the GM building downtown.
Yep,
yeah,
I think you're right.
Yep.
So just interesting, something people don't realize. Just like Exalta is what used to be DuPont, or that division of DuPont anyway.
Did you
So.
see the new paint scheme they're going to push out on the 24 car?
No, I didn't. All I saw was that they're going to run the flame paint scheme a bunch this year again.
Looks awful.
Really?
I cannot believe they're pushing that out. Yeah, if you go on the Twitter, people go on the Twitter. Yeah, that looks terrible.
Oh,
my opinion. That's my opinion.
Okay, I gotta look it up now.
Yeah, take your time.
Exalta Racing, probably. I'm assuming.
Yeah, Exalta Racing. Yeah.
The blue and orange, huh?
It's.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal, James.
Oh no, here it is.
I think you got to give this one a chance, because I think this is going to be one that's going to look a lot better on the car than in this graphic.
Okay. Well, do you know what it looks like to me? It looks like somebody took a Jeff Gordon diecast and left it sitting in the sun at the party store for far too long, and now it's all faded out.
I don't hate it, man. I don't hate it.
You just saying that.
No, I swear to you, I don't hate it, and I think it's going to look better on the car.
I hope you're right.
I think this is one of those that when you see it at the track, you're going to go, "Oh, this is a nice looking car."
It looks bad.
I like that shade of blue, so.
This picture looks bad.
I'm also partially colorblind, so I'm not.
What's wrong with the 24? Why isn't the 24 at least yellow? What the hell's going on?
I'm all right with that.
I'm done with ranting. I'm done with ranting today.
The yellow 24 is Gordon. You don't need.
Yeah,
Byron doesn't need yellow 24.
Yeah, looks bad.
All right.
That's my.
I don't know.
My high level analysis. That's as deep of analysis as you can get from me. Looks bad.
I don't hate it. I actually like the fact that they got that paint scheme, but with different colors, because it really bugs me to see Byron running a Jeff Gordon car.
Yeah, it is Jeff Gordon's car.
I just don't like it, and nothing against Byron. It's not Jeff Gordon. So I know. All right. NASCAR announced yesterday, I believe it was, that they're adjusting some stage length. Or no, was it today that they announced this?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, okay.
Tuesday. Yep.
Adjusting stage lengths for some of their races. So they're basically making the last stage shorter, so that it only requires one green flag pit stop. The first two stages will be a little bit longer. Included with this, the halfway point will now once again be the official point for the race. So if it rains after halfway, the race will be called, even if they have not completed both stages. They had also considered switching to 4 stages per race. Right now, they only do 4 stages at the Coca-Cola 600. They considered doing that for all or most of the races and decided against that. Any thoughts on this, James?
You know what would really be great? If they would just they should try this. Maybe one stage would be good. I'm just saying. I
knew you were going there.
I put a lot of thought into it, and I thought one stage. I mean, why wouldn't we want to try that? I don't know.
I feel like we're going to go full circle, and 10 years from now, we're going to go. We're going to really change things up. We're going to be innovative. We're going to do away with stages. We're going to just do one stage. It's going to happen. It'll happen. But I think the conclusion we've had on this podcast, at least I've had, I thought we were pretty fair on it, is for the most part, stage racing is good.
It is good. Yeah, I agree with it. No, I'm totally on board with that. I just wanted to take the opportunity to give a hard time.
I don't like the reasoning for lengthening or shortening the last stage. I really don't like the idea of cutting out green flag pit stops. I think that's part of the Cup Series.
Yeah.
That being said, I do think the last stage is too long in a lot of these races, so I'm happy that they're changing that. I personally would have been all right with 4 stages, even though that would have eliminated green flag pit stops at a lot of places.
Yeah.
I like the stages. I think the stages are great, and if we had a couple more, it'd be all right. I'm also perfectly fine with the 3 stages, but I think the stages are more fun in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series because the races are short.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple races in the Cup Series that you're like, oh my God, we aren't even through stage 1 yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If the race distances were shorter, I think we could get away with even a 2-stage deal. But
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know.
So 16 races will be affected by this year. Overall, I believe is the number that was mentioned.
One of my favorite things that NASCAR said about this.
Yes.
We have to wait to see how the racing looks with the new car before we consider 4 stages. So,
Yeah.
that's leaking confidence in that statement right there. Yeah.
Let's see. Some other.
My comments on the new car.
Yeah, I know.
What did I say?
I'm optimistic about the new car. I think.
What did I say to you and I can't remember exactly what I said to you and Todd.
Something that it sounds like a turd.
Yeah, that's it.
I thought it sounded good.
Yeah, it sounds like a turd.
I like the wheels. I think the wheels are sweet.
Oh, it sounds really bad. It sounds weak.
Nah. Come on, man. Don't be a hater.
Sorry. Okay, I said I was done. Okay. I keep spiraling. I'm getting ready for the season. This is my preseason rants.
There you go. So we had an R&D briefing that this came out, and let's burn through a few of these. Let's see. This is where we got the announcement on the 2.41 mile, 14 turn layout for the Indianapolis Xfinity race on the road course. Let's see. The NASCAR officials will meet with current manufacturers and prospective new ones Wednesday, which is today, to discuss a timeline for a new engine in the Cup Series competition. Earliest timetable for the advent of electrification is 2022. Arrival of any new engine could not come until 2023. I don't think this is surprising, but it might be surprising to some people. But I think we all know that this is part of the aero package and stuff that we have now, is this working towards a new engine. Mm-hmm. So, and electrification, they already mentioned last season, is coming. So,
yeah.
The Triple Chuck Challenge thing is mentioned in here, also known as the Trip. I guess. I don't know who called it that, but not me.
Oh my God.
The Cup Series director, Jay Fabian, said more cars will likely come back to the R&D Center for post-race evaluation in 2020 because there's a parts freeze in place. So inspectors are going to be taking a closer look at trends, making sure that teams aren't spending a bunch of money on new components for a car that's obsolete. So I thought that was interesting. No changes to the Xfinity Series aero package. 37 full-time teams expected to compete in the Xfinity Series this year, so good for that. Mm-hmm. Stage lengths, we already talked about all that stuff. I think that pretty much covers the stuff that was discussed.
All right.
There we go. And last but not least, the biggest news of the week, not really, Daniel Suarez going to Gaunt. Is that how you say it? Gaunt Brothers Racing?
Gaunt Brothers Racing, correct.
There you go. I don't even know what car number they are. What car
96.
96, okay.
Yep. Toyota supported. Toyota wanted them back, and they have never run a full-time season, and they are going to go for it in 2020.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, does Suarez do anything here?
No, it's not going to do anything. That car will be. It's not affiliated with Joe Gibbs Racing, but it's going to get a little bit more support. So,
yeah.
He's not locked into the field at Daytona, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that Toyota TRD, if they are backing him like they say they are, they're going to probably get him a good piece to make sure that he qualifies fast enough to make it in. But he's going to have to probably race his way in. I don't know. We're going to see. This is different. I mean, enough people and NASCAR themselves want to keep Daniel Suarez in the sport.
Yeah, it's important to have him here.
Yeah. So he's a good enough driver. He should be racing in the Cup Series. And Bella thinks so too.
Yeah, so. Bella's decided to wait till the end of the podcast to make her appearance.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Interesting to note, there are 43 expected entries for the Daytona 500, possibly 44.
Remember when it was in the mid 50s?
Yeah, I do. But with a 40-car field, that means that we'll be sending a couple drivers home, so that's interesting.
Yeah, probably the only race of the year where we'll be sending people home.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe one of the only races of the year that we have a full field to begin with.
I think David Reagan, and he's retired. He's locked in, so he'll be coming in. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting qualifying day. I look forward to seeing the duels this year because I want to see people go home. I want to see people earn their way in.
Yep.
I love that. It's one of my favorite days of the year is the duels.
Yeah, me too. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that they run at night now. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool. I love the fact that I don't have to either. Now this year it would work out for me because I have a TV in my office. I could actually watch the race in my office while I was working. But I don't have to do that. I can do it when I get home. So
wow.
I know, big time now, man.
I know.
Not only do I have an office, I have a TV in it.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Do you have the executive bathroom key as well?
No, I do not have
Oh,
that.
all right, very good.
I don't even have the key to my own office. I can lock myself in, but I can't lock people. I can't lock it when I leave. So
Yeah,
I mean, I
never get
can,
back in.
but I can't get in.
But you'll never get back in. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just know your place. That's all they're trying to tell you.
Yeah, right. All right. Any other news, James? Did I miss anything? I probably did.
We probably did something, but I think that covers for the most part everything. Yeah.
So James and I were talking before we started recording the podcast that we're done with off-season breaks. Well, next week we'll be back to preview the Busch Clash. Busch Clash again, yes, Busch Clash.
Yes.
We will maybe have some discussion about the Mount Rushmore NASCAR. So we'll have to fill some more time than just the Clash. And then we're back for the Daytona 500, James. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Our this will be so we started this podcast the week after the Daytona 500 the first year, right? So this is we're coming up on this will be year 4 of the podcast.
Yes, this will be the 4th year of the podcast.
What in the hell?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like I haven't even planned for sure what races I'm going to this year. Other than the 2 Michigan races, which are pretty much a guarantee, I have no idea. I'm pretty set that I think it's going to be Chicago and Bristol, the playoff race at Bristol, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, it's here.
Wow.
It's almost the 2020 season, so I'm excited about it, but I don't think I'm ready for it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
But James, if they want to talk to you during the week, where can they find you?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at T Super Speedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/The Super Speedway. If you want more of the podcast, you can visit us on our website at www.thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on there, show notes, links to articles we discussed. Basically, I should just put a link up to Jayski because that's pretty much how we do our show notes. Thank God Jayski's back. That's what I did today.
Yeah. Helps us keep up to stuff. So that's good.
If you want to know what the show notes are going to be for the next show, just go on Jayski and do it in reverse order. That'll be our show notes. Thanks.
Well, that's for the off season.
Yeah,
that's most of the off season.
Oh no, it's when I do the notes during the week, that's all I do.
Yeah, I'll try to find other sources from time to time.
I do go on the NASCAR media site and pull the results, so I'll give you that.
Yes.
And the racing reference, so I can figure out who I'm picking for the next week.
Right.
Speaking of that, James, are we doing you got some work to do too? Are we doing a fantasy again this year?
I don't know. I tell you what, peoples.
Yeah, I know.
Email us.
Yeah, we asked you before.
Let's do it.
Don't email us. Tweet us. Tweet us or message us on Facebook.
Yeah, tweet us to our. If you're following me, DM me on Twitter. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Let's see how many people are interested. I think people are interested.
Yeah, I think so.
Last season was super frustrating.
If you guys aren't interested, I'm totally okay with that.
It's a labor of love, man. It is a labor of love. I will, if we have enough interest, by God, I'll make it happen.
If we have enough interest, I will reluctantly participate again. Yeah. So I mean, somebody's got to come in last. So.
Speaking of,
yeah.
Eric, do you have any shout outs before we close it out?
Oh yeah, I did skip the shout outs. I took those out of the show notes.
That's okay. I wanted to just make sure.
I don't, but hold on a second before we get into that. What the heck was I going to say now? Oh, so James mentioned email us. Don't email us at, I don't even remember what our email address is because I haven't checked it.
I think, right?
Yeah, I haven't checked it since Ben was on the post Homestead or was it pre Homestead?
Pre Homestead. Did our championship preview. Yeah.
That was the last time I checked.
Oh my God.
So I haven't checked it all season. So if you guys email me, I apologize.
Ben's got my email. Ben email me. Todd, you know how to get a hold of me. So yeah, we get the whole crew. We'll get the crew together if we have to.
I'll check it and catch back up as the season gets started here. But yeah, no, I don't have any shout outs, James. You had something though.
I do. So you guys can fast forward if you don't want to hear about Kobe anymore. I'm going to talk about him for just give me a couple of minutes on a NASCAR podcast to talk about this really quick. So Eric and I were chatting before the podcast, and Eric said he was, with the news of Kobe going down, the way that everything happened, Kobe's passing and losing his daughter and everybody else on that helicopter, all the young kids. I grew up a fan of 2 guys in my life as a kid. Tony Stewart really brought me into NASCAR at a whole nother level. Before he came along, I was rooting for Ernie Irvin and Kyle Petty and all those guys. But when you're a kid, you're influenced by people, and they are a huge part of your life. And Tony was that guy for me in NASCAR. And then the other part of my sports life was Kobe. And I was a huge Laker fan, huge Kobe fan. If you go into my room in our house, which Eric has seen, my crap, it's Tony Stewart stuff and Kobe Bryant stuff. So what happened on Sunday had a bit of an effect on me, um, in many ways, as a fan, as a father of a daughter. It's had an effect on me, and it's weird. I was telling you, Eric, before that we're not related to these people. They're not members of our family, but people find a way. You, especially as a kid, people influence you and help you with directions in life. And I'm so thankful for guys like Tony Stewart, because I can be friends with you and we can do this podcast. And I am so thankful for the friendships I've gained from being a fan of Kobe, and basketball, because there's people, I have friends in my life, that I would not be friends with, I guarantee you, if it weren't for these people. And it's a huge impact on your and the rest of your life when you make these decisions as a kid. And I'm sad for all of these people that were involved in this thing. And I'm sad as a fan. I'm sad as a dad. And I wish the best for. I know Kobe's wife has spoken out as of recording this podcast. She finally did speak out, about the tragedy, because she's alone with Kobe's other three daughters, which is just so tragic. But I just wanted to pass along that. I don't know. I felt like this was a good platform to pass along some of those feelings. I wanted to talk about it for just a minute and share that with everybody, that life is short, and you never know when your time's going to come up. And Kobe was way too young, and the kids on that helicopter were way too young. They had a whole life ahead of them.
Yeah.
And man, I'm hurting for those people. I'm hurting as a fan, and hurting, like I said, I'm hurting as a dad. But just I just wanted to say that. I just wanted I wanted to do a little bit of a heartfelt thing. I know it doesn't really tie into NASCAR a little bit, but there are parallels. As a if people who are listening, if you're NASCAR fans, like when Dale Earnhardt died, and if you were around as a fan back then, you felt that impact. And he, like Kobe, had a reach beyond the sport. And we've lost a lot of our heroes in NASCAR to aviation accidents. Alan Kowicki, Davey Allison. I mean, heck, Eric, you said it before the podcast. We talked about Dale Jr. crashing the week of the Bristol race,
Right.
on his airplane with his wife and daughter aboard. Very similar to the Kobe situation, right? It would have been so easy for that to have gone the whole other way. They were so lucky to be able, and so fortunate, and to be able to get off that plane healthy, and everybody's fine, and they're living their lives normally again. And that could have affected us in the NASCAR world in a whole different way. And Dale Jr. is one of those guys, again, like his father and like Kobe Bryant, who have a reach beyond the sport.
Right.
So, it's been a hard week, and I know there's been a lot of outpouring, and it's one of those moments that we'll never forget where we were when that happened. It's like, Princess Diana dying, things like that. They're like points in life. And I think for me as a sports fan, I always thought it would be, my sports fandom seemed to has taken a different path since Tony's retired and Kobe Bryant. They retired the same year, so 2016 was really a fork in the road moment for me. But I think now, moving forward, my fandom changes even more. It's before Kobe died, and now it's after Kobe died. And I'm trying to have a different outlook on life about this whole thing, and it's really helped me open my eyes. So. Anyway, if there's anybody out there who's struggling with anything, take take a few minutes to maybe try to think about what you're happy for, or what makes you happy, because I know I have. This has kind of shook me a little bit, but anyway, glad to glad to have this platform, man, and thanks for letting me have just a couple of minutes. I think I went longer than I wanted to, but I appreciate you letting me. I appreciate you letting me talk about it. And hopefully, if you're not interested in this kind of thing, hopefully people fast forwarded.
Right,
So
right.
anyway, I just wanted to share that before we signed off tonight.
Hey, I'm not a basketball fan. Didn't follow Kobe much, but we're all sports fans. It's all a family together, and yeah, I mean it's a big deal. You referenced Dale Earnhardt. This is this is equivalent to that for sure. And we come from a sport where fortunately since Earnhardt died, we haven't had to deal with it, but we went through a lot of fatalities in our sport. It wasn't as uncommon, but still, when Earnhardt died,
Yeah.
it was such a big deal because it was, the big guys didn't. It was.
Yeah, the guys who are of that stature, like Dale Earnhardt's
Right.
an icon, right? He's
Yeah.
he's unbreakable.
Yep.
And then he was gone,
Yep.
And it's so strange to know that you're living in a world, and there's a new normal that comes along, but how much different would NASCAR be had Dale never died?
Yeah.
Where would we be now? It's one of those fork in the road moments. I think basketball is going to probably have something of a similar fight. Losing one of their icons too. So
Definitely.
I think NASCAR fans are more. You said it just right though. We since Dale died, we thankfully haven't
Right.
had any major fatalities in any of the major 3 series. And in fact, I think the 2010s was the first decade in NASCAR's history we never had any
I
fatalities.
believe that is correct.
But this sport knows probably better than any other sport what it's like to lose your stars, to lose your heroes. And, I think NASCAR fans can definitely relate to a lot of the hurt that's going on in the sports world.
Yep, definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know how to transition into plugging our podcast after that, but
on a somber note, sorry, people.
Yeah, it's all good. So if you want more of the podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud. Just search for The Super Speedway wherever you found us today. We hope that you subscribe. If you guys want to become a part of the show, want to help us out, help us get to the track, help us continue the podcast, become a patron at patreon.com/The Super Speedway. If you guys want to help us out, do that. Otherwise, just enjoy what we're doing. We're having fun doing this. Like James said, we're getting ready to start another season, 4th season of this. It's been a blast all along. Certainly feels like work sometimes, but for the most part, it's just an hour of me chatting with my buddy and just enjoying NASCAR and gotten to do a lot of cool things as a result of it. And looking forward to another season of it, man. I can't believe it's time again.
Yeah, let's go, man. We're grizzled vets in the podcast industry now.
There you go. We'll be back again next week to discuss the Clash, preview the season a little bit, and we'll really focus on the preview the following week. But maybe figure out a little bit more what we're doing going forward. But we're back this season, another season of NASCAR. We'll be here every week that there's a race at least, and here to talk NASCAR with you guys. So hope you join us. Hope you enjoyed the off-season break, but it's over, guys. It's time to get back on the track. So as we do every week, let's wrap it up. We'll be back next week to discuss some more. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.